The Sword of the Spirit podcast is brought to you by Illuminated Ether and the Spiritually United African Nation House of Worship, better known as the SUAN. Welcome, brothers and sisters. I am your brother, Tabidi, here with Brother Sekou, Brother Musa, and Brother Yabari. And today we're here with the Black Lion, Dr. Neil N. Jackson, y'all. Right. Okay, now with this age of social media and all of these so-called scholars and things that we have going on throughout the web, we're here with an authentic, truthful scholar, a doctor, Dr. Neil N. Jackson. Tell the brothers and sisters a little bit about yourself, your ministry, and just about your walk.
Yes, sir. Peace, brother. Peace, brothers and sisters. As a brother said, I'm Dr. Neil N. Jackson, spiritually and culturally known as Ahmed Yayakim, and I am the pastor and founder of the Spiritually United African Nation House of Worship. Now, what is that? We are a spiritual body that believe in all the teachings, spiritual teachings of our ancestors. We believe in the oneness of the Creator. There's number one God, innumerable names and attributes. And we pull all of our teachings from the Purim Haru, the Medu Neter, the Koza Hammurabi, the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran.
Wow, let's stop right there.
Yes, sir.
That was a long list of spiritual books, and we are diverse people on this planet.
Right.
Just go. You say the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Koza Hammurabi, and some other things as well. Correct.
Medu Neter and the Purim Haru.
Medu Neter and the Purim Haru. Could you explain a little bit about the Medu Neter and the Purim Haru? I know more people are familiar with the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and maybe the Koza Hammurabi. Could you go in a little bit further about those other texts?
The Medu Neter and Purim Haru are ancient African writings known today in the European sense as the Egyptian, or in the conscious community, the Kemetic writings. These are the divine writings of the Creator. The Medu Neter means divine speech or words of God. And Purim Haru is erroneously and falsely called the Book of the Dead. It doesn't deal with death, but it deals with afterlife resurrection, how to get to that divine realm, and the principles and laws we must follow according to the laws of Mayat, which is the ancient Kemetic word for truth.
Truth,
okay. And Yahshua, whom the world called Jesus, say, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
All right. Right on about that. So that's some heavy information, seems like some strong medicine for a very, very sick people.
Yes, sir.
Let the brothers and sisters know how long you've been doing this. To know about all these different spiritual texts in depth, the way you have it in depth, you had to go to a lot of schools. And who are some of your influences and teachers, sir?
Well, I give thanks to the Most High, first of all, and my father, my parents, peace be upon them.
Peace be on the ancestors.
My father was a Baptist minister, so my first training came up, of course, in the black church, as most of us have been reared.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And from there, I branched out and increasing my knowledge and studying my history, and have been a student of the Hebrew Israelites over the years, the Nation of Islam, Morris Science teachings, you name it, brother. I sat amongst them. I studied.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. And what I have discovered is simply we worship the same true Creator under different names and different attributes. The only difference is we have our own set of rules called doctrines that we follow. And if we set aside the doctrines, we'll find we're actually on the same path. So in my years of studying, research, and listening to the great scholars, Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Klopp, Ivan Van Sertima, John Jackson, and so many others, too numerous to name. I come to find out in these studies that actually we're all saying the same thing in our writings, our religious beliefs, our prayers, our spirituality. And when I've studied these books are talking about the same exact thing, only using different names and attributes over different time periods.
Yes, sir.
And we have to understand, it's like the Prophet Muhammad of the Quran, peace be upon him, stated in the Quran to the Arabs of his time, he said, I bring you this Quran in the Arabic tongue so you may understand.
Yes, sir.
We got to understand that what is written in the Hebrew was for those who spoke Hebrew, Arabic for those who spoke Arabic, Egyptian, Kemetic for those who spoke that, and so forth and so on. So it's not that it's different writings. We were just talking to different people in different periods.
Great. Yes, that's great.
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is, in the sense that the ancient Arabs were Africans, just like the ancient Hebrews and the ancient Kemetic Egyptian people, which to all of us, they taught us the Europeans. And they put the imagery out there, but
Right.
what you're saying is it's not just one aspect we've been tricked. We've been tricked all the way around the board to believe we different people.
Yes, sir. We've been tricked in every aspect. All of these people we're speaking about are of African descent, or what we call today black people. The identity has been changed through false images, and also have been changed by those who have conquered the land. Because Africa, as we know, is not what you see today. Africa really extends across Arabia to the Indus Valley.
Yes, sir.
And the word Indus or Hindu or India means black. All of this was Africa, and from Arabia to India was known as Northeastern Africa. So all of these writings belong to us, brothers and sisters, not the pale Arabs, not the white Jews, not the Romans, nor the Greeks.
Great, great.
Question. So, with you going through all these different schools of thought, is that the reason why you came up with the SUNA, far as bringing it all together? Like, what is that? What was the purpose of the SUNA, far as the way you teach or illustrate the understanding?
Yes, sir. Well, the purpose of the SUAN, brother,
SUAN,
African
you
Nation,
SUAN.
is that
SUNA.
spiritually we're bringing together all of the teachings of every nation to show that all of these books, all of our practices are actually one and the same. In other words, if brothers and sisters, if you just continue with us and listen to us, you'll find that the same Hebrew God Yahweh, the same God Allah, Netta, Asa, Aset, we will show you exactly how these are all one in the same people or God or deity.
Wow.
For
amazing.
instance, just to throw it out there real quick, we look at the God Yahweh, and Yahweh is not the Old Testament name, or excuse me, Old Testament God, as the Christians say, because Yahshua came in the name of Yahweh, which means Yahweh is our Savior, Yahweh is our deliverer. But the name Yahweh represents the Creator in both his masculine and feminine aspect. See, we have removed the goddess from the scripture, or should I say the European has removed the goddess from the scripture
I wonder why they did that.
to hide that powerful black woman, brother.
Yeah. They
And
claim
the black man needs his woman, and today they still use that separation to conquer us.
Thank you.
But the name of Yahweh is made up of two masculine and two feminine words. Yad and Wa, which is masculine, and Hey, which is twice in the name of Yahweh, is masculine and feminine. So it's when you call on God, you're calling on really Father, Mother, or God, Goddess. So we want
Makes
to bring
sense.
these truths back
Mother God.
to our people to realize that we are, as Psalm 82:6 and John 10:34 states, we are gods, the lesser gods or the small gods of the great God.
Oh wow, that's great. And just taking it back to hip hop, I remember back in the day, like when we came into contact with the New York brothers down here in Virginia, they was calling themselves God, and some of us got shook. So I see they had a more advanced education in the spiritual things up north, and now it's all coming into the brightness, and we seeing what's happening.
Yes,
with
sir.
it.
So-
And everything really moves from the north down was because in the south, as they said, Southerners are a little bit more slow on grasping knowledge, and we've been embedded so long, especially in the southern states, in the Christian teachings, and that church has played a major role in our lives that we are afraid to go outside of what the white man has given us. But our brothers and sisters in the north were more exposed and are more exposed, so they're quicker to grasp any teachings. It's the same thing with clothing designs and everything else.
Yeah, and then the beautiful thing is, like all of our family up north, you go back a grandma, grandpa too,
They link back here.
all of them down south. All of them from
By
down
the way of
south.
Georgia.
By the way of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Oh, great, great. So, here's a quick question that I wanted to ask. Being a student of the spiritual texts and things like that, and we talk about these nations, the different ites, the Jebusites, the Canaanites, the ites, the da 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 da.
Right.
All of those, even the Philistines that was fighting with David and things like that. All those were black people.
Every
Everybody was so
last one of them were black people.
So good and evil was all black.
Yeah.
Good and evil has always been a part of our design.
So in the spiritual books, how the disagreeable energies that's on the planet that's
Right.
controlling all these different things. Where do they fall in? Where do they take place in these spiritual texts? How do they? Where are they in the book? Or are they in the book?
Yeah, it's written all in all of the books, brother. Good and evil are really one and the same. And brothers and sisters who are listening in, you have to give us time to teach on that so you can understand it. Because in the book of Isaiah, you find that the Creator said, I created light and darkness. I created good and evil. If you said there's a Satan who created evil, then you have yourself another God. And there's only one true supreme being. And he created these opposites. And these opposites are to bring balance. But we don't know how to use the balance anymore because we have torn the opposites apart. Our spiritual writings really show how the opposites are actually supposed to aid one another in our growth and development. For instance, as I've always said, let's take the evil. If you never told a lie or understood a lie, you'll never know the truth.
Hello.
So these work hand in hand.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. So this, brothers and sisters, this is the Black Lion, Dr. Neil N. Jackson. This is the Sword for the Spirit podcast, and we dropping some heavy stuff. So y'all definitely need to check in. We here with the brothers, and once again, this is time for a commercial break. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, brothers and sisters, we're back here with the Sword of the Spirit podcast with the Black Lion, Dr. Neil N. Jackson. Hey, look, the social media is jumping, man. We got all types of questions, all type of, they got one of them dudes that's down with that black stuff up in here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we got Brother Jabari, man. What they saying on the social media? What type of questions they got coming?
Oh, man, it's a whole lot of questions coming up.
Yes, sir.
One in particular caught my attention. I want to read out. The person asks, how will this benefit my today life? Learn about these people in the past. How's this going to help me pay my bills? How I'm going to make money and take care of my family? Like, what is the purpose of this?
What's the benefit?
What's the benefit?
Well, one of the great benefits of it is waking you up to the knowledge of self. We are created in the image and likeness of the Creator and the Creatress. Therefore, there's a power in us, a spiritual power, in which we can do things, brothers and sisters, but the key is in our unity. We're not a body as an individual, we're a body as a nation. Now, for instance, the Spiritual United African Nation House of Worship is a spiritual body as many others, but we are not a body where we feel that everybody needs to belong to us. We are building on unity. If we build on unity, which is the key to our development as gods and goddesses, we can economically bring ourselves out of the gutters of America.
Come on, brother.
For instance, we believe in unifying with the Nation of Islam, the Christian Church, the Hebrew Israelite, our Rasta brothers, the Moors, and every positive black spiritual organization out there. If we visit you and fellowship with you and you fellowship with us, and we collectively pull our resources together, we can buy up every city block, we can buy up urban areas, and we can really begin to develop. This is not about religion. This is about the God concept. If I recognize God in you and you recognize God in me, why must we dwell inside the same house when we belong to the same bloodline?
Yes, sir.
Hold on, brother. So you telling me you willing to go into everyone's camp and work with them, the Israelites, the Moor Science Temple, the Nation of Islam. So you telling me you willing to work with all these different brothers, the Christian groups? There's so many different groups out there that has these different ideologies and
fences that they put up sometimes just
Exactly.
because
Yes,
you're different in a different. The sun shine on you a little bit different.
Well, like I said, first of all, there's only one Creator. We all bear witness there's one God.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Even those who claim to follow polytheism, there's a supreme being in every polytheist belief. Second of all, yes, we're willing to work with, and I will work with any organization, but understand that the Spiritual United African Nation House of Worship are blackologists.
Yes, sir.
Now, that doesn't mean white, red, and yellow, but we're talking about our people.
Okay.
We're going to work with our people collectively as all other races of people work together. If the white man can have interfaith organizations, why can't we?
Right.
I agree.
So, brother, what's your definition of a blackologist? This ain't another like black cult or group that
You a hate group.
Yeah, we don't want to shake the people up. So please explain that.
Let me explain a
Elaborate
bit.
on
But
this.
first of all, let's understand that anything that's classified as black is already a hate group
Already, of course.
in the minds of Caucasians, in the ignorance of our people. This only means that we're willing to work amongst ourselves with ourselves. And this is nothing strange, because to this day, only black people in America are the only people trying to integrate. For instance, the Latinos are working together, the Jews work together, the Arabs work together.
Asians.
Every race of people, even the Caucasians, work together and do not include anyone but their own.
Yes, sir.
We're saying the exact same thing that you see these people doing in your communities every day. So if this is racism, then they're racist. There's nothing wrong with loving yourselves. As a matter of fact, when you read the book that most Christians read called the Bible, the God of the Bible constantly tells his people, Israel, separate yourselves. Separate yourself. Do not dwell among them. Do not marry them. Do not do this. He constantly says, separate yourself. Your blessings, brothers and sisters, is coming in your collective unity of working economically together to save your race, your people, and your children.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, brother, this ain't another so-called conscious group or conscious movement, because it seemed like this fab is going around with this new conscious thing. What is this conscious?
I'm woke.
Community
Conscious
thing. What? Like,
No,
help
here's
me
the term.
understand that term.
Sounds like you're a hotepper.
Well, actually, brother, no, the SUA is nothing new. The SUA been. All right, brother. Hotep. But let's deal with that word hotep.
Yes, sir.
That's just an ancient Kemetic Egyptian African word which means peace.
Okay.
All right. A lot of brothers and sisters have abused it, but it only means peace.
Yeah.
Okay,
They try to just I notice how the media and they try to just demonize or dirty up something that's good. Just like, this media has taken our set, which the foreign folks call, and now it's ISIS, and it's something that's a terroristic, got a bad connotation to it, So thank you for that clearing up of the Hotep situation. So, brothers and sisters, if you hear it, Hotep means nothing but peace. Okay, yes, so when I say your Hotep.
All right, Doc, well, let me ask you this. It's a question from the people. What about the people that as soon as they hear black nationalists or black ideologies, black Muslims, the Kemetic brothers,
Black
Hebrew
Lives Matter.
What about the ones that think they only hate white people and that the whole doctrine is, you got to
Kill
white
whitey.
folks to be a part
Kill
of
'em
it,
all.
and not understanding how on the flip side of it, it's do for self, really. It's the opposite
sir.
of what they think it's about.
It's definitely opposite. We got to understand, brothers and sisters, that the love of self had been taken from us, during the slave period, and we never have gotten that love back. Loving yourself has nothing to do with hate, although in order to rise above your enemy, you must hate your enemy. Ecclesiastes tells us there's a time to love and a time to hate.
Get your time
And when
right.
you have a man hating you, there's no way you can love that man
Yes, sir.
if that man is hating on you.
Yeah.
So we're not a hate group, but in reality, we hate those who hate us.
Come on, brother.
Years ago in the 50s, I believe it was in the 50s, Malcolm X did an interview with Mike Wallace on TV. It was entitled "The Hate That Hate Produced," and I like to use that a lot because I say a lot of times we miss that title, "The Hate That Hate Produced." The nation didn't come out with hate.
Yes, sir.
That hate was produced by hatred.
Yeah.
So if there's any hatred that we teach and preach in the SUAN, it's the hate that hate produce.
That's right.
And our people kind of like on the football field, when the second person that do the actions is the ones that get caught. And because we respond to what they do to us, they look at us like we the bad guys.
And because we still carry the fear of the Caucasian in our mind, that the white man can shoot us and kill us and murder us every day, and we'll pray and forgive him. But when a black person does something, our anger and bitterness comes out towards that black person because inwardly we hate ourselves, but we love the white man. We need to reverse this psychosis here.
So, brother, how could I elevate myself if I got hate in me? Like, for the Christian folks out there, for the ones who practice a belief system that you should love thy enemy, you should forgive those who have caused harm, have trespassed you.
Turn the cheek.
Right. So how can I elevate myself or go to a certain level of consciousness with hate? How do I find that balance?
Well, let me address three things, especially to Christian brothers and sisters, and from that Bible point of view. Throughout the scriptures, if you read it, the God always commanded Israel to go to war with their enemies.
Okay.
And annihilate their enemies. In Malachi chapter 1, the Creator said there were two brothers, Jacob I love and Esau I hated.
Yes, sir.
And then when we get to the teachings of Yahshua, whom the world called Jesus, he said, if your brother do something against you to offend you, to turn the other cheek. Well, you got to understand the teachings of Yahshua. Yahshua said, I only came to my own. I only come to the house of Israel. He was talking about in-house forgiveness.
Oh.
He was not talking about forgiving the enemy on the outside.
Okay.
He was talking strictly to Israel. He said, I came to you, but you received me not.
Yes, sir.
So we have to understand the concept of love and hate, and when to use it, when to apply it, and when it needs to come out.
Okay.
Well, it looks like to me that the spiritually united African nation house of worship is the place to be to get these things straightened out, because, from what I've seen and through the history, grandma, grandpa, those spiritual texts has been used to shackle us real, real good.
Yes, sir.
And from what I'm hearing today, I know Dr. Neil Lynn Jackson, the Black Lion, you got the key to unlock them shackles, thanks and praises. Well, from what I'm hearing, I don't know what the brothers and sisters out there, I'm pretty sure they feel the same way I feel. You the Creator sent you here for the people. And you got a job to do, and I don't see why the ministry should be crushing TD Jakes and them boys. I'm trying to tell you, good night.
I can't understand it.
Yeah,
we fear this type of information, brother. It's a good thing. All praises be to the Creator that consciousness is waking up in us. It's a slow move, but it's coming. We're still in a drowsy state.
Well, I can definitely see with the events that's been going on for time, but here recently it's been more consecutive and more broadcast. And if the brothers and sisters out there listening all over the web, if you don't know it's a time to get it together,
sir.
we can get all the things that we guns, food, and all that. But if you don't get a spiritual connection, you could be in the wilderness still getting beat in the head.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, wow. This information is just outstanding this afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you. So here's a question I got for you, Dr. Jackson. Now, I know we're spiritual people. We're fanatics almost for spiritual things. We're fanatics for everything. How can we take that spiritual teaching from the holy teachings, and we're in an economic situation. We're in the belly of the beast over here, and white people, green people, wild people, they do a lot of wild things for their economic things. How do we take our spiritual teachings, internalize that, and help push our families forward in economic growth as well, spiritual growth and economic growth, so we can inherit our kingdoms and queendoms?
Let's address that first by crushing all the religious teachings that teach us that we got to suffer on earth or be poor on earth and die and go to a glorious heaven where we'll live on feast on milk and honey. All right, and get a long white robe. Let's crush that. I'm not saying, brothers and sisters, if that's your belief, we're not destroying any concepts of heaven or paradise, but we're saying that the Creator and all of the holy writings told us that our heaven starts right here on earth. One of the things we know that when you read Luke chapter 11, verses 1 down through 3, I believe it is, when Yahshua's disciples, Jesus' disciples, came to him and said, Master, teach us to pray. He said, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. The kingdom is coming. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So your heaven begins in the physical realm. Now, how we plan to do it? First of all, brothers and sisters, if you're attending any church, temple, masjid, tabernacle, house of worship of any other name, and your pastor, minister, rabbi, imam does not have an economical plan for your spiritual body, you need to leave. We need to, all of the spiritual organizations need to first have an individual economical plan for everyone in that congregation. And then all of us as ministers need to join hands and have a national economical plan. So what I'm saying is we need to start using the money, all right, what we get in our places of worship, and build up to start some type of businesses for our people who are in-house. And then collectively, we need to grab hands, work together on an economical level We got millions of dollars coming. Everybody always talk about the black church. No, it's the Nation of Islam, it's the Hebrew Israelites. All of them got money flowing through their veins. But if we come together as a people, an interfaith nation, and support one another, then economically we can build a black nation all across America. All it takes is unity.
I got a quick question as well. Now, you know, most of our black communities, you can go from Petersburg to Gary, Indiana, out to
Yes,
Compton,
sir.
up to Brooklyn, wherever you want to go, where we are concentrated. And we have spiritual houses that's been in our communities for some hundreds of years, 100 years or better, some,
Right.
you know. And I just can't fathom the thought of that these consecutive spiritual leaders and seeing the continued conditions in the community didn't have enough sense to put it all together. Can you elaborate a little bit more why some of these brothers, because I know it's ego and pride, but it has to be something a little deeper than that as well.
We have produced a lot of con men. A lot of preachers and ministers and imams are getting fed off the people. And I believe a lot of brothers and sisters have started off righteously. But, you know, when they say money is the root of all evil, it's not that money is evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And they fell more in love with the money that's coming in than with the love of helping the people. So that's why I said if you're in a spiritual organization and there is no economical plan for you and no future design for you and your children, which means your nation, you need to leave.
Do you think we are, you know, I notice a lot of brothers and sisters that are ministers and they go to the seminary and things like that. Do they put an economic plan in front? Like say if you go to learn how to be a preacher, do they teach you how to make your people get money so you can do these things? Or is that a secret that they can't tell you about or something? But it just blows my mind that say all these people of God and see our condition, not only nationally, but internationally. And it seems like you drag your feet. You got this money here, but then you don't have it's just a real sticky situation. It's really hard it's really frustrating to be in the community and to see it go on for so long. I'm 47, and when I started noticing churches, I remember my grandfather used to cuss. I thought he was the devil. You know, he used to cuss about the pastor. He used to call him all types of things. And this when I was a little boy. Now as I'm a grown man, I still see the same things.
Well, in the beginning, when we go back in the past, the black church was the first institutions of education where businesses started, but our ancestors only had pennies back then. But the preachers back then used those pennies to build up the black community because the black community was centered around the church. But as we got this little bit of freedom we believe we have, and we have tied into that integrated religious belief, you know, integration destroys us, and we start listening to the white preachers and the government plans through these 501c3 programs that are to deceive us. Ministers have learned to pimp the church and pimp the people to fatten their pockets.
Yes, sir.
So they no longer share with the community, and thus you have black churches on every block in the community, and the black community is dirt poor.
Exactly.
So we want to reverse that, again, psychosis. We want to make the people aware that we have the most, listen, brothers and sisters, whatever religious institution you're in, it's the most powerful nonprofit organization in America. You can use that to your benefit, and the government can't really touch that or hinder that. That's why we need to every black religious body in righteousness, all right? We don't want no con group. In righteousness, come together as a collective body. We under the banner of one God. We just call them by the many attributes and names.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
stop being silly and stupid. You calling on the same creator. In the Quran, it says all the beautiful names belong to Allah. And Allah only means the God.
Yes, sir.
So we're under the banner of the one God. We're under the banner of being one people. I don't care what you call yourself. The Caucasians see you as one people. That's a nigger. Wake up to the reality of it. All black people look alike. There's no difference. They don't stop you and ask you your religion or which church or organization you belong to. All they see is the color of your skin. We are the same people. Light skin to the darkest of dark.
A nigga is a
All
nigga.
right, a nigga is a nigga.
Well, it looks like
In his eyes.
we're going to have to get us a drop squad because I see it's an infestation of foolishness and con men within our communities.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, Pastor Pork Chop, we coming for you. I got a group of righteous men with some sharp swords. We coming for you. So you
Swords
better
and a
get
spit.
right or night. You feel me?
Yes, sir. All of these ministers and pastors and imams and rabbis who are not standing up, trying to teach the people what we're talking about today, these are the hypocrites that we must get rid of.
Yes, sir.
So did these guys, like, for my understanding, did these guys swear an oath not to tell the truth, or is there something that they promised not to expose while the people are not getting the truth?
But it's not so much an oath as it is a secret teaching.
When he taught.
Okay.
It's the way that where they're taught and the things they say amongst you. For instance, when I traveled through the seminary,
Okay.
it was the way it was programmed in your classes.
Mm-hmm.
How to use the church, how to benefit from the church, and how to keep your congregation growing.
Mm-hmm.
What to tell them to keep their hopes up,
Give
that
them
they
the
may
juice.
continuously tithe and increase in their tithing. And one of those little games they play, and you hear it on TV. If you go to a church, you hear it. It's called sowing seeds.
Oh man.
And they constantly tell the congregation, you sow your seeds, how the Lord or God going to bless you.
Yeah, you get double.
And
back.
then the preacher uses him or herself as the example. Look at what God has given me, and
Oh.
God has blessed me with this, and God has given my wife this and myself this, to make you feel that the more you give,
the more you get,
the more you'll be
receive.
blessed.
Yes.
Oh.
And then they tell you next week, I'm going to take you to the next level, but you never get to that level.
Then we heard.
Okay.
All
Then
right?
we heard. Then we heard.
Oh yeah.
So you went to
Oh, yeah.
so you experienced this.
Yeah, I
last
went to church last Sunday, and I was trying to get something out of it, some enlightenment, and it seemed like the whole session, the minister
Buddy.
kept speaking about himself, what he got, private jets, the prosperity of all his lavish things. But I was looking at the congregation, and everybody else was barely making it.
But he was eating it up.
But they were sowing seeds, and they were sowing seeds to the point where it was at least $500 on that altar. And that's not an exaggeration,
Maybe more than that.
or more. So, I wonder, like, what's the psychosis of most of the people, why they feel like they have to sow this seed in order to receive a benefit from a guy who's manipulating them, as to say.
Because they're weak.
That's what it is. It's a weakness of the mind, and black people like to live on hope. All right? That's why we want to keep hope alive.
That's what Justice said.
We want to live on hope. Now, if you study, you'll find that white churches own real estate, businesses, and property.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
The pale Arab Islamic centers in America own real estate, businesses, and property. Elijah Muhammad, all praises be to Allah for his teachings, he built a nation, and in that nation, he acquired businesses, real estate, and property. The only difference in us and what the nation is doing is that in order to benefit, you have to belong to the nation. The Spiritual United African Nation House of Worship saying, no, let us spiritual bodies unify together.
Right.
All right? Let us support one another, and let us economically grow as a people.
And start stereotyping each other.
This is what we need to do. We need to get rid of the cliques.
Okay.
All right? For instance, I would visit any black organization where the truth is being told and my history and my culture is being given to me and my people are being elevated. I'm going to support you. I'm going to put money in your plate, your bucket, or what have you.
Right.
Because I want to see your growth. But
Right.
let's use all of this money from all these religious organizations. Let's establish a spiritual bank
Okay.
where we can start. All we have to do is start from the city you in or the county you in.
Okay.
All of these spiritual bodies come together, these religious leaders, black religious leaders come together and say, look, we're going to take a percentage of our
Offering.
Sabbath or Sunday morning offering or tithes or zakat, and we're going to put it together in a collective pool,
And we're going to do it.
and we're going to start going from one point of the city or county to the other, and we're going to buy property or we're going to establish
Wow.
a business,
Yeah.
and let's put one or two from each different temple, church, synagogue, etc., to work in this establishment to make money for us and to build an economy for ourselves.
Wow.
It's as simple as that.
Otherwise, based on what you're saying, Doc,
Yes, sir.
we as a people, we speak on prejudice, but we are our own prejudice against ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Based on what you're speaking on, but why we're being held back is because of the prejudice of ourselves and not wanting to see each other grow as one. We want
Crabs in bucket.
each one want their own little piece of the rock, piece of the pie, whatever. and they're not willing to come together collectively so we can be as one people. But if we don't come together as one people, we're all gonna go to hell in a bush of basket.
Thank you,
Wise
brother.
words from Brother Musa.
And let me throw this in. This wasn't a question or anything, brothers and sisters, but to the religious leaders out there, stop beating up on your people. Everybody does not have to belong to your party to work with you. You know, I get this all the time from the black minister, the Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, and so many others. If you're not this, if you're not a part of our body, then we can't work with you. You're going to hell. You're under the wrong banner. You deaf, dumb, and blind. Some of your best soldiers are all around you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
And they don't have to belong to your spiritual body to help you build a nation.
Oh, wow. This has been a great gathering session here at the Sword of the
Yeah.
Spirit podcast. And before we get out of here, Doc,
Yeah, Doc, break down to the people about the sword of the Spirit. What is that double-edged sword that we coming with?
Well, the sword of the Spirit, brothers and sisters, as you know, the sword is not is not anything to comfort you. The sword is a war weapon. And we are definitely at war. And that sword represents truth. We are people of Mayat. Mayat is that ancient Kemetic word, which means truth in the Hebrew, is emet or emat. And we are like Yeshua, who followed the line of the prophets. We have came with the truth, and the truth is here to make you free. So we're at war, and we're using the truth to cut away the falsehood, the lies, the deceptions, the hypocrisy,
Yes, sir.
everything that has been holding us down, holding us back, and killing us as a people. So, brothers and sisters, if you really want the truth, tune in and listen. If you don't, continue in the foolishness where you are. That's your choice.
All right, and can you tie it together to bring it to a close, as in how in the beginning was the word, and wordplay is what Europeans use to twist our mind up, and the word is what we use to kill ourselves at
Yes,
the
sir.
same time through the music and everything else right now.
You know, everything has duality to it. And in the beginning, yes, the Creator created everything by the word, is even in the ancient writings of the Purim Haru, the so-called Book of the Dead. And in the Quran, it says, Creator said, Kun fire, kun, be and it is. Everything was spoken by word. But the devil has his tricks. And the devil has twisted many meanings of words and concepts of words and got us to change words to now we use negativity. We use the destruction of words to destroy ourselves. We're using it in our music, as you just stated. We use it in our language every day. For instance, I never in my life would have believed that I would run across so many beautiful black sisters, the young queens, the princess of our nation, who have such foul mouth and degrading languages. And, you know, the more you speak these things, the more they manifest in your life. And we're speaking these things now so clearly that we speak them in the midst of our children. And the children are hearing, and psychologically, they're picking this up, and not only picking it up in their mind, words are spells. Spells bring about spirits.
Really?
So these spirits are now manifesting in our children. We're speaking the caveman's language.
come on, brother.
When we speak foul language, we grunt. And in other words, we're not forming anything of righteousness, anything of sound prosperity. It's just destruction. So we have to be careful of our words.
Yes, sir.
Because the power is where? The scripture said the power is in the tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You speak righteous things, you speak life. You speak unrighteous things, you speak death.
Yes, sir.
So
Well-
we bring death on ourselves.
That's
sir.
what's happening,
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Neil N. Jackson. So this has been the Sword of the Spirit podcast. I'm Brother Tabidi, for Brother Musa, for Brother Yabari, and my brother Sekou. We got to say peace. We got to say hotel. We got to say holla black. We'll leave the window crack.
All
Until
right.
the next time, y'all.
Shalom, peace.